Okay, guys, welcome back. Today we need to talk about expectations. And we're going to talk specifically about reasonable ones. Because, man, I have seen this float around in terms of narratives that you guys see in social media, that you see in other videos, that you see people talking about on TikTok non-stop. Okay? And you know exactly what I mean. You see these people that are like creating these lists of things that they need from other people, whether it's a future significant other, if it's a future friend group, or an individual that you just want to become part of your life. Okay? So we create these fantasy situations of these people that don't necessarily exist, but we want them to exist and we want them to be part of our lives. So the reason that I made this video is because I had a discussion with somebody today, and I thought it was very key, and I thought it was important for me to cover this because it was a long conversation. It was like 20, 30 minutes of us just really grinding down and me trying to help my friend out. Okay, she's having a lot of issues in terms of trying to find the right person, the right people that she wants to be around. Okay, so have reasonable expectations. Now, when somebody hears that, their mind immediately goes to, so you want me to sacrifice what I want. You want me to sacrifice the thing that I'm looking for and the thing that makes me happy. Yes, to a degree. Okay? So if we look at this like a graph and we say on one end, okay, you have a list of 20 things, maybe even more. Okay, she had a list of 24 things. It was ridiculous. Okay, so you have a list of 20 things. Just use that as an example on one end of the spectrum. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have zero expectations of either what you want a partner to be, or of what you want somebody that's a future friend to be, or of what you want your future friend group to be like. Okay? Now, if your goal is to seek happiness and long-term fulfillment, okay, you're probably not going to get all those needs met anyway. You're going to see plenty of channels, plenty of accounts on a balance of probabilities that do showcase that. But it's just simply not true for most of us. Okay, it's just simply not going to happen. The percentage of that happening, and it doesn't mean that you give up. It doesn't mean that you give up all the expectations in this huge list of things that you want in somebody else. But what it does mean is that you need to pick a percentage of these and let them go to the wayside. Because if somebody doesn't meet 100% of these expectations, you're pushing 100% of people away. That's just the math, okay? But if you get rid of maybe 3 or 4 of these things, or if you say, hey, I can sacrifice 3 or 4 of these things because they're not red flags, it's just a personal preference, it's just an opinionated preference, and it's really not a bad thing if this person does or doesn't have these traits, then you can get away with it. Now, if I was to put a number on it, I would say that if you get rid of maybe 20% of the expectations that you have for other people in your life, or that you have for somebody in the future that you want to have in your life, it will be a lot easier. Now, I'm just making these numbers up, but 20% of the expectations that you currently have set out for meeting somebody new or having somebody enter your life, get rid of those. Okay? Pick the bottom 4, pick the bottom 5 if you have 20. And just get rid of it, okay? If not, you're going to get older. You're going to find that you start having more expectations because as you get older, you start getting pickier, and then it's just going to get worse. And it's going to create the snowball effect that you are not going to be able to stop, okay? Or it's going to be much tougher to stop, like an addiction. So try doing that and just realize that it doesn't mean that you're not going to be happy. It just means that by getting rid of maybe these 3 or 4 or 5 things, you're still going to have happiness in your life, okay? You're still going to be okay. It's just, would you rather be unhappy for the next 5, 10, 15 years? Or sacrifice 10% of the fake, artificial happiness that you create in the short term with something that's an opinionated preference that maybe looks related, which, by the way, was her issue. And then those are going to fade in 10, 15 years anyway, so what? You just wasted all that time. because 3 or 4 of the things that you had on there were looks relevant. And then if it takes you 10 to 15 years to find those things, well, by the time that happens, and if you're still being that picky, you're not going to find that person anyways. So just keep that in mind when you guys are out there, when you're meeting new friends, whenever you're trying to go out there, you're in the dating world, whatever it is. Keep in mind, realistic expectations are the way that you're really going to be happy in the long run. Okay? So don't be unreasonable, but also don't lower your standards too much, okay? And it's not about finding the middle ground. You don't even have to go to the middle. Just keep 80% of your expectations. Start there. And if you start to see progress, then great. You're in the Goldilocks zone, okay? But if you're still not seeing results, then maybe your expectations are still too high. Or there's some deep interior work that you need to do on yourself. That's it. Okay, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.